Yeah, good evening, America. This is cranky old car guy Rob Harrington. On this installment class, we're going to learn about counterterrorism and propaganda. You see, there's a lot of propaganda going on that I think the Zionists are perpetrating against good, decent Americans to hate Jews. Well, that's a fallacy because 100% of Zionists are crazy, insane, dog raping assholes, murderers, thieves, cheats, liars, blackmailers. That's 100%. The Jews, some of them are Zionists, and they deserve to go down with their Zionist masters. Some Jews don't like Zionism, so you can't place this all on the Jews' backs. And there's people fanning the flames of a race war in the United States to get people mad at the Jews. Don't fall for the trap. That's their trap. They're going to use another victim card variation to get people online to say Jew, 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 when they should be saying Zionist. Don't conflate the two. Zionism is not Judaism. Some Jews are Zionists, but not all Jews are Zionists. Okay, so there's a guy named Roland Thompson on Substack, and I'm going back and forth with this guy, and I'm saying, dude, you sound like an IDF guy who's trying to fan the flames of hatred and bigotry in America by saying the word, by downing Jews all the time. I don't do that. I never go after the Jewish faith because I focus on Zionists. And he starts arguing with me. And I say, okay, are you a Zionist? Do you hate Zionism? He refuses to tell me he hates Zionism. I asked him 6 times. He refuses to say he hates Zionism because his mind would be so brain crushed, just confused at that point. All his training and brainwashing in Tel Aviv or at the kibbutzes or IDF training has trained him to hate Muslims, that he can't admit that he hates Zionists. So he won't admit it. And then I said, you're intentionally fanning the flames of hatred on a race war in America, aren't you? And of course he denies that. And then the interesting thing is, I said, are you typing this from Tel Aviv or from Langley? Because you see, it could be Langley putting that stuff out so they can database patriots to arrest all of you if you're anti-Zionist and anti-Israel. Because our government they're Zionist. Most of the votes in Congress, 95% of them, support Zionist aid against killing Muslims in the Middle East. That's what the last 25 years of warfare has taught us and trained us in America. So please understand when you're being played as a sucker, okay? Quit being played as a sucker and stand up for your freedom and your rights, especially your constitutional rights for free speech. And even though Zionists have a right, I guess, to fan the flames of racism and a race war in America, is that correct? Well, they have free speech rights. Should we give them a hall pass? Should we let them go? No. You should speak up, and you should flame them and expose them. Ask them specifically, so do you hate Zionism like the way you hate the Jews? Never conflate Zionism and Judaism because they were two different things. One is a religion, more or less, and the other is definitely not religious. They're pretty much atheists, but they are a social, economic, and political front that use the Jewish victim card as a straw man factor, as a human shield factor to get away with all their crimes. And they've been doing it for 500-600 years now. Go back to the Napoleonic Wars and usury, when Catholic kings and queens allowed only one religion, not Christians, not Muslims, just the Zionist Judas, whatever they are, Jews, to do this. And I think those were not really Jews. They were fake Jews from Europe. They were gypsies. They got rich as gypsies, stealing people's identities and stealing their goods in transit across Europe and other parts of Persia to Europe and here and there and all the trade routes. That's partially how they also got rich. And that's how they became the wealthiest socio-political economic group in world history. World Zionism 101, guys. Usury laws from the Bible. God did not like usury. It was a sin. So the Catholic queens and kings allowed the Zionists, the Jews, to loan money with interest. So then when the kings and queens got into a pickle, what they would do is kick out the Zionist bankers, who would then blame their expulsion. The Zionists would blame it on the Jews, so that they would get kicked out of 109 countries. Boy, that's some deep shit there, isn't it? Maybe you ought to think about this. Don't fall for propaganda and lies. Zionists are at war with this country, and they want us to burn down. They want the end of our country, to steal all our resources, land, money, everything, if they haven't already, because they certainly stole all the votes in Congress. 530-something votes to 6. 6 people stood up in Congress and said no to foreign aid to genocide, dog rapists of prisoners. That's per the New York Times. Liars, thieves, pedophile, aiders and abettors, the Epstein class, right? It's all coming together. The dots are connecting. Better start listening, folks, because your country's going to go up in flames, and it'll be the Zionists' fault. They want to take over the rest of our country. And I never signed up to bow my knee to any Zionist ruler. Never signed up for that. Did you?